Hi, Professor Julian. I'm here to present my pivotal text final assignment, my 10 pivotal texts that I feel are part of this new generation. So let me just fix my phone, sorry. So these are the texts of the past generation that I thought have been influential. So the photo of the Pulse shooting, book Revolution in the Valley, movie Southside with You, website How Netflix Launched, song Blurred Lines, website How Uber, Airbnb, and Etsy turned 1,000 customers into 1 million, movie The Social Network, movie Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures, I also kind of reference the book as well, even though the movie was released and produced in this generation. I just wanted to reference the book as well with it, just because they're both influential and they both are important when talking about the movie. The Law, Legalization of Marijuana, and the book Unhinged, an insider's account of the Trump White House. So the first pivotal text I have is a photo of the Pulse shooting. The shooting was on June 12, 2016. Omar Mati killed 49 people and wounded 53 others in a mass shooting inside Pulse, a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida. He was killed after a 3-hour standoff, and this was labeled a terrorist attack by the FBI. The shooter's motive was apparently revenge for the United States bombing campaigns on ISIS targets in the Middle East. The shooter apparently didn't target LGBTQ people. He didn't even realize Pulse was a gay-oriented nightclub, asking a security guard at the club where all the women were just before the shooting. During the time of the shooting, LGBTQ plus people were not targeted, but this shooting changed everything. And why I think it's so pivotal is because it was one of the deadliest mass shootings by a single shooter in the U.S., and the photo that I'm using as a pivotal text really showcases how people came together after this horrific event, and came as a community. It wasn't just the Orlando and the LGBT community that was just shocked, but everyone in the country was shocked, and that's why it was one of the biggest shootings until the Las Vegas shooting the following year. This really just showcased how powerful the world can come together in a time of need, and many people came down to Orlando just to show their support and to help those who were affected. It was through this shooting that the talk about more gun laws and gun safety began. Of course, before this, the Columbine shooting occurred years before, but I think it was once the Pulse shooting occurred that more people really talked about the subject and really talked about the importance of gun laws and gun safety. And then I also have a quote here about the importance of understanding the difference between hate crimes and acts of terrorism, because of course this was an act of terrorism. And this is the photo that I want to reference as my pivotal text. As you can see, it is a group of people outside their club with signs and kind of words of help and motivation for the community. So the next text I have is the book Revolution in the Valley. I read this book maybe around a year and a half, maybe a little bit less over that. It is an amazing book. It's a nonfiction novel written by Andy Hertzfeld. The author was a core member of the team that built the Macintosh system software. The book's main topic focuses on the development and hardware design that went into the first original team for Apple computers. The novel is the first of many that speaks about the company Apple. It gives the reader a deeper look into the company through the eyes of one of the forefront people. Both were 2 high school dropouts living in Silicon Valley with extremely innovative and intellectual minds. How people were talking about it during this time. The book may not be a bestseller like many will talk about later. It was a hidden secret. It makes us think more as to how the phone got in our hands and why and how we were able to type on that computer. The reason why I think it's so pivotal is because it's speaking about the future of the big company. It showcases the birth of a company created by Steve Jobs and his friend Steve Wozniak, who were the 2 dropouts that I mentioned. And they really influenced the way that Apple was created. And this really resonates with people because everyone has either a phone, a computer, a laptop, an iPad, and because of the Mac and because of the creation of it, it's important to understand where it came from. And the book not only talks about the engineering and the scientific aspect of Apple, but just how it became so influential in such a big company. And as you can see right here, and my pencil right here just to point out, this is the original kind of Apple computer, and now look, I'm on a different one, so for Apple. So it really just shows how Mac was made, and just a great story about how it became one of the big influences and big influential companies and empires, dynasties that we know today. So the next I have the movie Southside with You. It was directed by Richard Tane, and it was released on January 24th, 2016. It tells the heartfelt story of how Michelle and Barack first met and their story to the Oval Office. I believe this text is pivotal because the former President Barack Obama was one of the most influential and important presidents the United States has ever seen, and audience were able to be a part of the growing that is the Obamas. It's important for people to and resonates with many because this shows how Obamas met and is a telling story that showcases more than just what makes the Obamas so influential. It resonates with many because once he left office, our country was never the same. The movie is a segue into the former president's life and shows how he changed many and how his time in office changed the way America was and will be for centuries to come. And it's also important to mention that the movie came out at a time where we were changing from President Obama to the president we have currently, and it was a time where people really needed, something to continue this legacy on, and that's what this was. It really was just a movie to help hold that legacy that is the Obamas and kind of showcase how they came from Chicago to the Oval Office, and it's an important work of art that I think many should watch and is a great film. And I also think that, as you can see, this is the two, right here, these are the two actors that played Michelle and Barack Obama, and then the actors side by side with the actual Obamas. The film really showcases the importance of being able to work for what you dream of, and no matter your skin color, it truly shows that you can achieve what you want, and it really is an amazing movie to watch. The next is website, how Netflix was launched. So I wanted to use both the app Netflix and this website to kind of showcase the importance of the app and how it has changed and is a pivotal role, has played a pivotal role in our generation today. The app was founded on August 29th, 1997, and the media service provider and streaming service. It built its business around a, quote, single growth metric that its competitors overlooked. From mailing to online media, it evolved into a much greater platform. Currently, Netflix has about 154 million worldwide users, and since 2012 has taken a large role in production. People resonate with it because everyone uses it, and that no matter your age, it's a versatile app in our technology today. And I also believe that it's just such a pivotal text because Netflix is one of the biggest companies today, and it's a part of our generation we live in. The article explains the past, present, and future of the company and why it is so vital and important in our world today. And you can see here, I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit for us, that here you can see I used this website too as a pivotal text. And the second sentence, I'm going to read it right here. Fast forward 2 decades and Netflix has become one of the biggest TV and movie studios in the world. With more subscribers than all of cable television in America combined, how did Netflix go from renting movies to making them in just 20 years? And this website really showcases that the company created a much more bigger platform than we could have ever imagined. It was just a simple company that would send movies, to our house's mailing, and now we're able to stream it just from the comfort of our own living room. And it definitely has evolved over the years and shows how technology has played a big and a large role in our lives. And Netflix was one of the stepping stones for future providers and future services later on, like Hulu and HBO Go. And just like, if you think about it, like the last one I mentioned with Apple, and talking about how Apple created this software, created this technology that has evolved and also created more, has inspired new companies like Google and Windows and things like that. So just showing that Netflix has become such a bigger company, and this website showcases that is important. And here's the logo that has changed and evolved over the years. So my next pivotal text is the song Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke featuring T.I. and Pharrell. This song was released in 2013 and is one of the most controversial songs of the year. It was released as a positive song, however, was later named the worst song of this or any other year. The controversy on both sides include that one side believes that the song, with its lyrics, is very derogatory and negative towards women, and it's slanderous with its wording, and then the other side kind of quotes that the song is more positive and more uplifting for women, and it kind of is seen as a song that is inspiring women to be there on their own and be themselves. but it was received as a mostly positive song when it was released. However, it was later named the worst song of the year, like I said. And many critics say the song promotes rape culture, objectifies women with lyrics, and the music video is also very objectifying to women. People talked about this song even more when it was performed with Miley Cyrus in I believe it was the VMAs. I'm not 100% sure, but yep. So this song really kind of quote, I don't want to like play on words, but blurred the lines with music and how we put out music, whether that's, you know, to just have a cool beat, blurred lines, or to objectify women. And in my opinion, this song definitely objectifies women. And as you can see, I have the music video here. I'm not going to play all of it, but I just want to... So I want to just show just parts of it. So first, you can see hashtag thick is crossed across the screen. Of course, when people see it, you just think Robin Thicke's last name, but it actually has been seen and noted that it's more of a derogatory way towards men and their genitalia, and that they should be, quote, thick. And then, as you can see with the music video, it is just more objectifying as women prancing around while men just watch, and it just objectifies women very much, and that's why I just wanted to show a little bit of that. And as you see the video, there has been a lot of slander towards the singers. And the quotes, these are lyrics from the actual song. So just for example, here it says, "But you're a good girl," and the artists have said that it's supposed to be more of a nice kind of, oh, they're just good girls, but it is more than that, and you can see that as, you know, people promoting rape culture and promoting that negative slander towards women. So it's important to talk about this song because it's very pivotal in our society, because women are not just objects, and even then, like when you see in the music video these two photos, they are seen as objects. And this other photo is from a protest, I believe it was for the Women's March, that they said, "We are not just word lines," which is important to mention. And of course, it took a really big toll on the people during the time of the release of the song. So my next pivotal text is the website How Uber, Airbnb, Etsy Turned 1,000 Customers into 1 Million. So these 3 online companies have put connections of strangers into our digital platform used today. Platforms not only supply options for people, but also opportunities, like works and supply and demand. So I say work because when Uber, Airbnb, and Etsy, you're able to just work for the company, whether that's ride sharing, opening your home up, or just selling your goods that you're creating. You're able to work for the company and not only just buy things from them, but you're able to work for them. But you can also, of course, buy, you know, it's changed the way people get taxis and go to different places. They just Uber, or Airbnb, instead of a hotel, they go to an Airbnb, things like that. It's just like Netflix. These 3 online companies have changed the way we get around, vacation, and buy. The companies put the connections of strangers into our digital platform used today, like I said, and based on a Harvard business case, the website explores how successful these companies have become in our modern technological world. During the release of these apps, our world knew only taxis, hotels, and DIY dollar store tricks. Now, thanks to these apps, we have more options for ride shares, more options for vacation homes, and a unique gift. This all is marketable due to supply and demand. This is pivotal because Forbes is a leading magazine and shows how people have been impacted by these apps. Furthermore, it gives a more economic look into how successful it truly has become. These apps sparked the change for new apps and similar apps, just like the ones I mentioned before, and as one app came into light, another similar one was done. And you can see here, this is the website that I used, so it was from Forbes, and it just showcases how Uber, Airbnb, and Etsy turned these customers into millions. It has showcased how influential it has been, and it really affected the people with, excuse me, the hiccups. It shows how people have benefited from it and have used these apps in more in our lives now than, you know, of course, before they were created. So And these are the apps: Airbnb, Uber, or Etsy and Uber. So next, my number 7 pivotal text is the movie The Social Network. I think this is one of the most important texts, in my opinion, just because this film talks about how Mark Zuckerberg created the multi-billion-dollar company that is Facebook. It was directed by David Fincher, who also directed Fight Club, and was released October 1st, 2010. The film shows how Mark Zuckerberg turned a simple online dating site for Ivy League eyes only into a multi-billion-dollar company. I think this text is pivotal because the movie shows how pivotal social media has become and how influential the first steps into creating Facebook were. The way social media has played in our lives all started with the birth of sites like MySpace and Facebook. Without social media, the generation now and later may be completely different. And it's due to Facebook and it's due to the creation of Facebook that more social media sites have been created, like Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and a lot of them, when you sign up for them, they always ask to link your Facebook. And it's because of Facebook, it's the hub and it's the center of everything involved in social media. And that's why I think this movie is such a pivotal text, because it shows that it has evolved and has changed from the beginning, since it was the Facebook to Facebook. Okay, so as I was saying before with Facebook and how the social network is so influential, it's also because of the people that created it. It wasn't just, people who are business executive or business marketer, people who actually just dropped out of college to pursue this new idea, and it really changed the way we all like and share and post our social media and things like that. And one of the quotes, before I forget, so this is the trailer, you can play it later. This is one of the quotes I wanted to talk about. So it says, "You don't get 500 million friends without making a few enemies." And that's very true, because with social media today, people are posting and sharing all different things that they think that people want to see and want to know and understand. And it's more, people are just posting what they want people to see. And it very much has changed the way social media is and social media has been. And with social media, it also plays a big role in mental illness and just the mental stability of people. And it all started with the social network with Facebook. So the next movie, or the next pivotal text I have is the movie Hidden Figures, but I also want to mention that I did kind of talk about the book a lot too here. I think both are very influential and both are important pieces of pieces of text and pivotal text that are important. So it was directed by Theodore Melfi, and it was released on December 25th, 2016. The book was written by Margot Lee Shetley, and the novel tells the true untold story of the Black women who helped win the space race and chase the American dream. The movie reveals the true story about the women behind changing what NASA has become, and the film and book are both filled with pride and irritation. Now, when I say pride and irritation, it's people are proud of it because it was for the achievements of these brilliant trailblazers. However, the irritation is because this chapter of history was left out from the history books. I know I never heard or knew about this story until I watched the movie and trailer. So the film is unlike any before. When you see this film, you can feel the impact of just knowing the Black women were directly responsible for putting the first American astronaut into space. Margot Lee Shetley, who wrote the book that inspired the film, once said, quote, "Katherine Johnson knew once you took the first step, anything was possible," end quote. This text is very pivotal because it showcases the important work these women did and gives hope to those. It gives hope to others that they can do the same no matter the color of their skin. And again, this is the trailer for the movie, and these are the photos. This is the poster for the movie, the book that inspired the movie, and these are the actresses and the people that they portray. This movie also resonates a lot with people too, because it not only just talked about women in the workplace, but it also talked about women in a male-dominated field, in women of color, as well as just women overall, and the gender pay gap, and just having women seen on the sidelines and seeing men more up front. And this movie really showcases that, especially during this time now, when it was released, to really just give power to women. So number 9 is the legalization of marijuana. It is, I think this law is an important pivotal piece of text for our generation, because it is something that is increasingly is an increasing debate that has been brought to many people's attention, and currently 11 states are legal for recreational use of cannabis. This number has continued to increase since the first states that were legalized. Many debate whether this legalization is beneficial for our country or not. The first state legalized was in 2012, Colorado and Washington State, and the debate has been going on in our country since 1911. There are 4 kinds of uses when it comes to marijuana, so I want to mention those first before we continue. There's 3 kinds of uses. The first is CBD, cannabidiol, which is a non-psychoactive substance in marijuana that provides medical benefits. And then medical marijuana, doctor recommended to ease symptoms of certain conditions containing both delta-9 cannabis or THC and CBD. Lastly, recreational pot, which is used without medical justification, often contains more THC than medical marijuana. So it's important to mention those just because I want to first go over here to this photo. So this is, let me just make it bigger. This is the map of the U.S. and where marijuana itself is legal. So the darker colors, so these over here are recreational. The little bit lighter darker is the medical. The lighter of the green is CBD oil law, and the gray is illegal. So it goes to show that it's not just marijuana in general that is legal, but certain types of marijuana, like recreational, medical, and CBD oil. And that's why I think this law is very important and pivotal, because it changed the way our world works economically, medically, and socially. In the 1990s, 5 states and DC passed medical marijuana laws, and by 2008, states had passed medical marijuana laws. As medical marijuana became known recreationally and other uses were wanted more, it was pivotal because, in my opinion, there are more benefits due to legalization. It's important to see this as a reform to help people due to the increased support for marijuana law reform. Now, this law is definitely controversial for some people, but I think that this law is an important piece of evidence for people, because it resonates with people who have certain illnesses and ailments that need more than just medical help. They need help with or need care. So for instance, with certain disabilities, they need medical marijuana does help them relieve their stress and relieve their aching. And I think it's important that a lot of people are resonating with this, and it's important in connecting with people because it helps more. It's not just marijuana, and it's not just marijuana that's seen badly. It also does more. So that's why I think it's a very pivotal text and important text that it resonates with a lot of people. And then lastly, my last pivotal text is the book Unhinged, an Insider's Account of the Trump White House. It was written by Omarosa Manigault Newman, former director of communications for the Office of Public Liaison in Donald Trump's White House. It was released on August 14, 2018. The novel is a jaw-dropping tell-all story from one of the most intelligent and strong women working alongside our current president. She was also aide in the Office of Presidential Personnel and the Office of the Vice President in the Clinton White House. The #1 New York bestseller, in the novel, Omarosa labels Trump as a, quote, racist, and she has been alongside Trump since the days of The Apprentice. The novel was seen negatively by the Trump administration, and they even said that the book was, quote, riddled with lies and false accusations. They even accused Omarosa of, quote, trying to profit off these false attacks. President Trump reacted even by saying that Omarosa was a, quote, lowlife and, quote, bad dog. So I think this text is important just because, A, the president feels that it's something negative, but if he thinks it's something that's, towards him, he will always, tweet it and talk about it and say it's negative. But the things that she said in this book, I think they're not that something that she would make up or something that she would try to base her, to get money off of and things like that. So I think this novel is an important piece, and it's unlike any before written about our president, because Omarosa looks into the White House and our president and shows the true side of the elected official many sadly voted for. It's an insider's look into the truth of our current president, and I think this novel is a pivotal text because there are books about our current president right now, but this one is more than just the history of our president, but it's what is going on in our country now, what is happening, and what he is doing to, quote, help us. And I think it's a really important piece of text that people resonate with because it is something that many want to understand why this official was elected and how he is doing in office and how he got to that point. And this book really showcases that, and a lot of people connect with it because it's something that is unlike before, because of the president we have now. And this is a quote from the book. So Trump was always talking about Ivanka's body in the grossest possible way, but according to Omarosa, she welcomes the obsession to gain power. I'm not going to read the quotes; it's pretty long, but I just want to mention that this quote really just talks on, shows how he would really kind of turn that in. He would turn like all the things that the public would say negatively about him, and kind of put it into and condense it into like the public, into his own party, so people were able to talk about it to the public, and being able to read this in fine print and seeing that this did happen and this is what the president was doing is something that people needed to hear, because a lot of people don't believe that the president is doing harm or is who he says that the public is saying he is. So this really just showcases, this book really showcases the true life and the true example of what our president is, and it's a really pivotal text for our world today, because it's going on in our world. We have President Trump as our president, and Omarosa really gives a great detail about what's going on. And that is it. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I've been trying my best to do this. Please let me know if there's anything else I can do, or anything else you'd like to see from this PowerPoint. Thank you.